Okay. So Mars in the first house says that they're active, that they're forward, that they're bold and assertive. How does Scorpio influence that?
Maybe Scorpio is like secretive.
Secretive, yeah. Mysterious, intense.
Yes.
What else?
Suspicious.
You feel free to use your study cards and cheat on this exercise. This is how we learn. This is how we learn to associate the symbols and interpret them.
Good at starting things. This is a cardinal house, so they would be starters of things. Additive, courageous, inspiring, independent.
A leader. Independent. Yeah.
Doesn't hold a grudge. However, self-centered.
Sign are we in?
Yeah.
Does Scorpio hold a grudge?
Yeah.
Very strong.
Yeah, Mars is very strong in Scorpio because Mars rules Scorpio, right?
And it also rules the chart.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Because Scorpio on the ascendant makes Mars the chart ruler. Everybody understand that?
A double whammy.
Yes. But Scorpio is a fixed sign.
It's fixed. That's right.
So then would this be considered cardinal or fixed then, the first?
Well, we're in the first house, which is considered one of the cardinal or angular houses. But the sign energy is a fixed sign. So that can be stiff, rigid, unchanging, consistent, persistent. Do you think this person gets what they want?
Probably.
Yes. Unfortunately.
Would you want this person as an enemy?
No.
Would you want them as a friend?
Better a friend than an enemy.
I'd want them for neither. I would want to stay away from this person.
Oh, you would? Okay.
Very, very likely, yeah. I mean, as a friend, I wouldn't want to probably do a friendship or business dealings,
Okay. Does anybody have a different answer?
The moon in Cancer.
The moon in Cancer?
Yeah, we have to consider more things.
Yeah, what do we know about Cancer moons?
Very moody, I think.
The moody, emotional. What else? Should we get out our Cancer card and check that?
Well, the Cancer moon and Scorpio, they both deal with emotions. So they could be very, sort of fly off the handle-ish and, in the way that they approach things. They could be very emotional, very aggressive.
But I think there's a different side to this person too. The aggressive side is definitely there, but there's another side too. And well, everybody has, the chart shows us all the different sides of someone.
And maybe I was just looking at that side, so.
The Scorpio is also ruled by Pluto.
Yes.
So that's about transformation and healing. And so they could be very instrumental in bringing about transformation, in terms of the larger picture, interpersonal relationships, healing, be very aggressive and very forthwith and moving things forward, and getting through all the blocks and restrictions that often come up.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit difficult that Pluto is in the 12th house.
Why do you say that, Tora?
If that's sort of like the unconscious or institution, so it's more difficult to know what it means.
Yeah, so They may not be completely conscious of how they wield power.
I have Pluto in 12th house also, and I don't know what it means.
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of a tough one to figure out.
Yeah. Jupiter in the 8th house, the 8th house is the regeneration, spiritual, and this person has powerful Jupiter, but also the wounded healer with the moon. Could this be a person in medicine?
Well, we'll see. We'll see when the identity is revealed.
Well, we also see there's a lot in the 2nd house. A lot of planets.
And they all have hard aspects. At least it would seem by the colors of the lines.
Oh, well, let's turn the lines off, because the lines, well, I just had a discussion about this with some of my other students about how the lines can really throw you off, and your astrological skills will grow much faster, and you'll become a much better astrologer if you learn to read the aspects without the lines. Okay.
Could this be a person who might be a leader of a cult?
Well, that's an interesting observation.
And why?
A leader of a cult, excuse me, a cult or a group.
But how do you see it?
Someone who can persuade others to follow him. I mean, you've got a magnetic personality, and you've got someone with not only Scorpio rising, but Mars right next to it. So you have that energy. And I remember hearing once someone saying that Scorpio never travels alone. They always take people with them.
Well, and it's interesting too, because Venus is in the third house, and that could mean that, like, that's usually like the storytelling, the communication house, and so that could play into all of the dynamics and the abilities that they have being out there and transformative. And so being,
it's also in the air sign of Aquarius, which furthers the idea of communicating and putting
and that house is also a Gemini house, so that's another air sign, and a very, very communicative. Mercury rules Gemini as well. So
be 31 this year.
From
counting correctly. So this
yep, 31 in December.
Is it someone we all know of?
I think probably so.
A public figure, perhaps?
Yes, it is a public figure.
Not an entertainer.
Politician.
No, I didn't say that.
What?
That is not an entertainer. I didn't make it specific. It's a public person that we probably all know. That's all I've said. Yeah. Well, let's look to that Moon Jupiter. What is Moon Jupiter conjunct, right? So we see Moon at 1 Cancer. All right. We see Jupiter at 7 Cancer. That means there's only 6 degrees of separation between them. This is how we find aspects, you guys, without the lines. We're not going to look at the lines. Birth Charts for Beginners covers the conjunction aspect and the opposition aspect. To know the opposition aspect, you have to know that Cancer and Capricorn are opposite each other.
Right.
Okay. And so you know that there's a bunch of planets in Capricorn that are opposite a few planets in Cancer. So this opposition takes place in the 2nd house and the 8th house, which are related to, can anyone tell me?
Money.
Yes, they're both money houses. Yeah, so they're houses of money and resources and the
Self-value,
intimacy
perhaps.
of, sorry, what?
I said a second can perhaps also be sort of something like self-value.
Yes, yes, yes.
Well, I have a guess, but I won't say who.
I think this is someone for whom financial success is important.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
And then what do we know about Moon Jupiter? First, what do we know about Jupiter and how can we apply that to the moon?
It expands everything.
Yeah.
So
What's the mood of Jupiter? How would Jupiter influence if the moon governs your moods, how would Jupiter influence the moon?
Like positive moods.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Tor?
A positive mood.
Positive. Oh, okay.
Positive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think this person's fun to hang out with?
Yeah, I guess maybe she is.
Adds to the magnetism of the 1st house.
Mm-hmm.
Attracts people on the basis not just of the personality, but the emotional base as well.
Mm-hmm.
See, you guys are really good astrologers. Do you want to know who this is now?
Fun. Who is it?
A guess.
I guess Taylor Swift.
It is Taylor Swift's chart.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
You got it.
Oh.
Yeah. 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 Taylor Swift just released a new album this last week, and it's very, very good. So if you're into her, if you like her stuff, you might really like her new album.
Well, and she's also made various changes in her style that have kept her successful.
Yeah, she's very versatile.
Yeah.
You know, very characteristic of a mutable sun. She's very mutable. Their strength is their versatility. She's very, very versatile.
What made you guess Taylor Swift, Pat?
Just from what I was seeing, first I said somebody I don't want to hang out with, and then Molly said something that said, "Well, wait a minute," and I thought, okay, well, who would be super, famous and in the news and sure of him or herself, but also has this emotional quality that's expansive and positive, and it just came to me. It was the sun and the moon, mostly.
Yeah, but then you see the Mars in Scorpio rising in her angry songs. She does. She is somebody that you don't want to be on her bad side because she will put you in a song.
Ask you, where is that? Where you can see that she writes songs about you if you're not nice to her, and there it is, right?
Yeah, but she writes songs if she loves you too. She writes songs about how much she loves people and how she remembers people and how she regrets the mean things that she said. There's a couple of mentions of that on the new album, and yeah, so it's really beautiful. It's really beautiful, and she's been making music since she was a teenager. So if you've been a fan for a while, you've kind of seen her come into her own through her art, and it's really beautiful.
Didn't Carly Simon do the same thing with James Taylor?
That I don't know.
Yeah, she one of her famous songs was "You're So Vain."
Yeah, I didn't think that was about James. I thought it was about another person.
I thought that was Mick Jagger.
Married to him for a while.
Pardon?
I thought she was married to him for a while.
She was married to James Taylor, but I don't know that song was written about him.
I always heard that song was written about Mick Jagger.
There you go.
Oh, that could be true. Well, so in other words, if we encounter Taylor, we need to be careful.
Well, you probably should be
Warren,
kind to her.
Tracy?
I hear that she's just delightful to meet and to spend time with. But the close relationships is where the bombs start to go off. Because she does have this side that wants what she wants, and is pretty used to getting what she wants, because Mars is very powerful in Scorpio.
But also, to be fair, she's worked very hard for it too.
Oh, of course.
That was
Can
fun.
can one see the artistic side?
You don't see the artistic side?
No. I just asked. I think my guess it's related to Neptune. So I just asked, how can we see the artistic side, or can we see it?
That's a good question.
Well, I think she has to work at it. And she definitely does. She's got all this Capricorn, including Saturn in Capricorn. What is Saturn's special relation to Capricorn? Can anybody tell me?
It helps
Ruling planet.
boundaries.
Discipline.
Yeah, discipline.
What is the special relationship between the sign Capricorn and the planet Saturn?
Oh, Saturn rules Capricorn.
Yes, good,
Yeah.
good. So when a planet is in a sign that it rules, it's extra strong. She's got a few of them. Can anybody tell me what her planets and ruling signs are? There's actually a lot of them.
Planets and ruling signs. So it would be Scorpio,
Okay, what's in Scorpio that Scorpio rules?
Mars,
Mars.
Is there anything else?
Pluto.
Pluto, yes. So she's got both rulers of Scorpio in Scorpio. What else?
Plus the sun.
Sorry, what did you say, Tor?
I just say plus the sun. So there's very strong Scorpio.
Oh, the sun's in Sag.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. We read the planets and signs from the outside in. Planet, here's the degree of the sign, and then the sign itself.
Yes.
Yes.
So those are two.
Well, and the moon rules Cancer.
Good. All right.
There you go.
And then we have the Saturn in Capricorn.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty strong chart. There's a lot of planets in the signs that they rule in this chart. Yeah. So strong chart, strong personality.
And with our interest in the nodes, can you speak a little bit about her north and south node?
Well, yeah, that's pretty great too. So what do you guys think about the north and south node? Who remembers the story from last week?
Oh, the dragons.
All about
I think we all.
the stomach.
Should I tell it again?
I didn't hear it.
Yes, please.
Okay. The story goes, this is from the Hindu myth. There was a snake or a demon or something that wanted to get into the meeting place of the gods and had to go in disguise, because if they saw that this was a mortal being, or whatever it is, an earthbound being, then they wouldn't be able to come in. So they put on this disguise and they snuck into the meeting place of the gods. And they and the interloper stole a sip of the nectar of immortality, tricked them into giving them a sip of the nectar of immortality. And then boom, this thing is transformed into a dragon and the cover is totally blown, and the gods are like, oh crap, what do I do now? That wasn't supposed to happen. But the nectar of immortality is not undoable. So they're kind of stuck with this immortal dragon that they have to figure out something to do with. So they cut the dragon in half to, I guess, diminish its power. And the dragon now exists in two pieces, two parts on opposite sides of the sky. It's kind of in its immortal form now on the opposite sides of the sky. So the back half of the dragon is the south node of the moon. That is the U-shaped horseshoe. It's upside down. The north node of the moon is the right side up horseshoe, and that is the head of the dragon. So you'll see them called the dragon's tail and the dragon's head some of the times. And they and so the trick to using your nodes is to recognize the power of the back half. The back half has the strongest muscles. It has the tail, it has the back legs, it has the strength to get you there. This is hers, performance. And the north node has the sensory organs and the mouth. The back half has the stomach. So there's a lot of craving, there's a lot of hunger. Craving for respect, recognition, all this Leo stuff, right? How do you feed it? You become more objective, and this is how she became famous. If you kind of, if you've done a lot of fangirling of Taylor Swift as I have, then you know that she got started by really connecting with her audience. Her agent, whoever it was, told her that if she wanted to be famous, if she wanted to, do this kind of work and be a star, that she had to meet 500,000 people. And so every tour stop she did, she would go and meet her fans and shake their hands and take pictures. And she's still very, very generous with her audience. That is the North Node in Aquarius. The South Node is subjective. This is like, I see everything through the lens of how it affects me. The North Node in Aquarius is objective. So she's coming from a place where she has a lot of talent, but it has to be used in service of a community, of some objective thing, concept, humanitarian.
Which she obviously loves because she also has Venus there.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Not conjunct, but it's there in the third house.
Yeah, so she already knows that helps her connect, and that kind of, I think that having Venus in Aquarius in that same house with the North Node kind of helps her express that part of her chart. Whereas when people have planets and they're in the same sign or conjunct the South Node, then that makes it harder to kind of get that energy working for you. There can be a lot of kind of going back, and the problem with Leo is that they think everything that happens is about themselves, and you see this a lot with like Pluto in Leo, or Pluto in the Leo's house, the fifth house. People take a lot of things personally, like it's all about me.
Well, there's Sun in the first house too, so she's got that double.
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, so that's probably been a struggle for her life to kind of see herself more objectively, and I imagine that's a real challenge when you've got 1 million people telling you how great you are all the time,
Interesting that she's got the node, and Leo is in the sign of international travel as well.
Yeah,
Certainly does a lot of that.
Yeah. Well, and if you read up on Astrology for the Soul, which is Jan Spiller's book on the nodes, so it's like a fundamental work as far as I'm concerned on the nodes. Yeah. If you read about North Node in Gemini / third house, then it will talk about how the South Node in the 9th house the craving is, I want to be right. I want to have all the answers. And the way to kind of use that strength, the way to put that strength to work in a way that works instead of a way that drives people away from you, is to listen, connect with other people. Don't assume that you know everything and they know nothing, which is something that Sag can do. And instead, really connect and be a good listener.
That was fun.
And be careful or she'll write a song about you. What a great test, Molly.
A great what?
Test for us.
Oh, wow. You guys did great.
To see how much we know and for us to discover how much we know.
Yeah, let's do that again once in a while.
Wow, let's do that for sure.
Great idea.
Okay, so my plan was kind of 20 minutes on a mystery chart, and then the rest of the class, we're already 30 minutes in, so that's fine. But the rest of the class, I can just answer your questions and, see where you're at, what you want to bring to the meeting.
Did we have anything more to do on the nodes, or are we pretty much done with them?
Well, we could look at some charts.
That would be good. I have a couple of questions.
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
Okay, who wants their chart up?
I'll volunteer.
I'll be second.
Pat volunteered. Go ahead, Pat volunteered.
I'll be second. It's okay. No biggie, no biggie.
Okay, well, let me open up, get my charts. All right. All right, here's a little page. What's her nodes? Where are her nodes?
She's got North Node in Virgo, in the Eighth house?
In the eighth house.
Yep, 8th house.
Yeah. And south node all by itself in the second.
Okay, what sign? What sign? Who can tell me the sign of the sun?
Pisces.
Pisces. Good.
Well, the south node is in Pisces.
Right. All right, so we have south node in Pisces, 2nd house. North node in Virgo, 8th house.
North node in Virgo.
So who wants to take a shot at interpreting that?
Well, I'm going to use my book and cheat.
Well, what's the craving? Just tell me in a nutshell. What's the craving?
Now the craving is the north node or the south?
South node.
South
South
node.
node's a craving. Thank you.
I'm sorry,
Yes.
say again.
Spirituality.
The
Spirituality, I think.
Yep, spirituality. Craving to lose oneself, a craving to dissolve all the boundaries. Now, South Node in Pisces almost comes with kind of one foot in this material reality and the other in the clouds, in spirituality, or somewhere else that's not here. Does that make sense?
yeah, because I've certainly tried a whole bunch of different things that have been more spiritual than material.
Yeah, I mean, you have a lot of energy on your North Node, so I've done some advanced work on the nodes using Jan Spiller's work that she used to sell 20 years ago. I bought these audio tapes of lectures that she did at an astrology conference. And what she said about when someone has a lot of planets, like Little Page has Mercury, Mars, Moon, and then way up there is Neptune. And those are all conjunct that Virgo node, okay? So what Jan Spiller said about planets that conjunct the nodes, that means that Little Page came into this life like, I'm gonna learn those lessons as hard as I can, because that's where my soul needs to go, and I'm just ready to get it. So it's almost like you get slingshotted out of where you spent a past life, which would have been Pisces, which would have been kind of separate from the rest of the world, either monastery, cloister, prison, confinement, isolation of some kind. And in this lifetime, she's like, no, I'm going to get my hands dirty. I'm going to be a Virgo. I'm going to be here on the earth and, really take charge and do stuff, do stuff in the material world with my hands, with my guts,
Yeah.
be really, really involved in the nitty gritty of this life.
Right, like learn to knit.
Right, yeah. And Jan Spiller says that at some point in your life, you got to go back and revisit the South Node energy and kind of clear it up, deal with it, clear it up, because it is your greatest strength. And that's probably what draws you into spirituality, even though you are kind of an earthy soul.
So Molly, is that just if the North Node is conjunct?
Yeah, if the North Node has planets conjunct.
Yeah, it's conjunct Mercury and Mars.
Yep, Mercury, Mars, Moon.
Well, I don't know. It's kind of far away from Neptune, don't you think, Molly?
Well, I mean, it depends on what your orbs are. I know somebody who considers a planet to be that's in the same sign to be conjunct.
Oh.
Like they don't make a big deal of the orbs. It just depends on how you interpret the chart, but you might be able to throw it in there. But for sure, you could say Moon, Mars, and Mercury are conjunct, and that's a lot.
Yeah. That's true. Kind of a big cluster.
So what does it mean if it's a South Node and the planets are conjunct?
Well, that means you've got some work to do on your past. That you really you can struggle with those things represented by your South Node.
So in this case, on my chart, that's not, the South Node is a reference point, but it doesn't really have the influence that the North Node does, right?
I don't know if I would characterize it that way, little page, but you know, definitely the North Node's got more going on around it. The North Node might be something you identify with a little more.
Well, thanks. Yeah.
Okay. So Pat, you were next, right? Okay, now we got the other direction. Oh. Same Virgo Pisces axis, but this time the South Node is Virgo and the North Node is Pisces. And the planets are conjunct the South Node in Virgo.
Yep.
So what do you guys think of that?
And there's that Neptune out there too, not too far.
Yeah, Neptune's in the same house.
Page, yeah. But vice versa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we've got Sun, Saturn, and Mercury all conjunct the South Node. And what Jan Spiller said about planets conjunct the South Node is that they represent past lifetimes that you've brought over into this lifetime to complete. There's unfinished business. And remember, the South Node represents a craving, you know, a hunger. And so the hunger is for order, you know, all the Virgo stuff. And also Sun, recognition. Saturn, so responsibility, accomplishment. Mercury, there's something I need to get across. There's a message I need to say. There's something I need to speak. And Virgo, I have to get it just right or bad things are going to happen. Right?
Sounds like why you do for a living.
I just enter your head and speak your thoughts.
Is that like that old childhood thing? I remember with the sidewalk, step on a crack and you'll break your mother's back sort of stuff. Has to be just precise.
What do you think, Pat?
Oh, is that for me? I don't know. I'd like to hear about the North Node and what hopefully I've done already in my life to balance, you know, the two.
Yeah. Well, what is the North Node telling us in Pat's chart? What's the way forward?
What's the what?
What's the way forward?
The way forward. Mm-hmm.
Remember, the South Node has the craving, okay? That craving is for that sense of order, that sense of recognition, that sense of everything's going to be okay, that it's complete and I've got this. That's the craving, right? So how do you feed that craving? How do you feed the hunger with the North Node in Pisces?
That's the spiritual aspect.
Spirituality, giving control over to some higher force, higher power, something that helps you admit that you don't have all the answers and you don't need to have all the answers.
In my former business line of work, that's called delegating. And I did that, so thank goodness.
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds like a good way.
Would that have anything to do with maybe I mean, with Virgo, you want to be in control, not necessarily of other people, but certainly of oneself. And I wonder if the North Node in Pisces then is a way of saying, well, it's okay for me to relax a bit and not be so concerned with being in charge of everything in my life.
I think that's close to it, but it's more like I am really driven by this desire for perfection, and it's eating me alive, and the only way out is for me to give up control and to, you know, be okay with things being out of order, with things not being perfect.
Like right now in life, oh my goodness gracious. Talk about being out of control.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. That was enlightening.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, anybody else want to give it a shot?
Sure,
You could do me.
All right, one last chart, and then we'll sign off for the week. Okay, what do we have here for nodes? These are nodes we just saw already this time too. South node. Where's the south node, you guys?
12th.
Uh-huh.
In Leo.
And then Leo.
In Leo. Good. And where is the north node?
6th house of health
Aquarius.
in Aquarius.
Yeah, good. Okay, how are we going to interpret that?
Boy.
For the south node, what is the hunger?
Yeah, what is the hunger when the south node's in Leo? What does Leo want?
For attention.
Attention, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Affirmation.
Mm-hmm. Validation.
Validation, yeah.
Respect. Yeah. And what does the south node crave when it's in the 12th house?
Good question. Gee.
Escape. A sense that someone else has the wheel and I don't have to do it. It's kind of opposite of Virgo. Virgo is like, I've got to be in charge of everything and make sure that everything's perfect all the time.
And Taurus says, okay, go for it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Very happy to say that.
Cool. Yeah, but the stomach can't feed itself. So we don't get the sense that everything's okay by kind of leaving it to everybody else. Not in this north node in the 6th house lifetime. This time things work out when you kind of take a look at the big picture. It's not all about you. That's the north node in Aquarius mantra. It's not all about me. What this person did is not necessarily a reaction to me. I don't need to take everything so personally.
Which is also exacerbated by the moon being there in Pisces.
Yeah, could be. Yeah, and and the north node in the 6th house is I win when I take charge. When I get involved, when I roll up my sleeves and get my hands dirty and learn about the processes and the details and the little bits that make things work in life. Does that make sense, Tor?
Yes, at least the 6th house. But perhaps the Leo, I just need to think a little bit about it, but could be.
Yeah. Okay. All right, you guys. Any ideas what you want to work on next week? Or would you like to do another mystery chart? What do you think?
I like the mystery chart a lot.
Yeah.